Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
A burger's fine, but listen, we've been thinking about familial DNA a lot lately. I'm just wondering, have you ever submitted your DNA? Do you
Pull
think that you
up
could...
to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John here with Jamie. I hate being cut off, man.
For the love of everything holy, what do I have to do to get you to start covering cases on True Crime to Go that are light, that are non-violent, that are...
I'm sorry, you don't think
will lift people up?
The murder of a 9-year-old girl that went unsolved for almost 60 years is not important?
It's not a good time. It's important, not fun. But it is, like you said, it's important, and it is kind of tied into some things we've been talking about. So why don't you get us rolling?
We're going to Bristol Borough, Pennsylvania, and that is where a case remained unsolved for more than 60 years. That case was the rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl named Carol Ann Dougherty. On October 22nd, 1962, Carol Ann rode her bicycle to return library books, and she stopped at the doors of St. Mark's Roman Catholic Church to pray. Jamie, she never went home. Her death haunted her family and the community. But now, in 2025, the case has been formally closed, and there has been a grand jury indictment naming William Schrader as the perpetrator. So what in the world happened?
Yeah, maybe there is some happiness here since we closed it. I should have not buried the lead there.
I mean, it is still awful. You're not wrong, but at least there's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah. So when she disappeared, it was around 3:35 p.m. And now investigators think that she was attacked while she was inside of that church building, hidden in a choir loft area, potentially beneath some stained glass window of the church, was where this guy was hiding. John, you and I are men of faith. I desperately want people to feel the most safe in buildings of religious practice, of church, but this is awful. Her dad discovered her body around 6 p.m., which was laying on the landing that was leading up to the choir loft at St. Mark's. Like you said, she had been sexually assaulted and she had been strangled with a ligature.
Yeah, the details of this case are quite gruesome. So if you have young ones in the car, this is not appropriate for them. If we've ever used an explicit warning label, it is now. Go ahead and make what you need to make happen. So at the crime scene, it was awful. She had pubic hairs clutched in her hand. So, right off the bat, this is a sexual case and murder. Investigators identified a handful of suspects over the following years. There was a handyman who was known to be a drunk. There was a teenager whose notebook contained her name. There was even a priest at the church whose alibi kind of, was questionable. But one suspect of note was William Schrader. At the time, he was living just a block or so from the church, and he was questioned in 1962. He failed a polygraph test and lied about his alibi. Despite the suspicion, the investigation lacked what was needed. They needed strong physical evidence linking someone beyond a shadow of a doubt. And because they did not have that, only speculation, the case would remain unsolved for, like I said, over 60 years.
Thankfully, technology has come so far. The forensic material they had, the pubic hair that John mentioned, was kept. The DNA testing in the early years wasn't able to process that like they could have. In fact, there are 141 other men's samples that were excluded before that one sample remained. Now, Schrader could not be charged at the time. He had left Pennsylvania, relocated to Louisiana, and he'd passed away in 2002. The statute of limitations and the conditions of the case complicated matters. Again, statute of limitations not necessarily for murder, but unfortunately that does exist for rape in some states. The passage of time made this tough. It eroded memories. They lost files. This was a case that was never forgotten, but like so many over the course of time, details are lost and thrown to the side. But the family continued to persist, and this testing recently was able to rule out everybody but Schrader. And that's usually how DNA works. It's able to say, there's a 1 in a billion chance it's somebody else. There are 8 billion people in the world, so it's this guy.
So the breakthrough happened because in late 2024, investigators obtained a confession from Schrader's stepson. Now, the stepson reported that Schrader admitted on 2 separate occasions to luring this little girl into a Pennsylvania church, raping her, and then he had to kill the girl in Bristol to keep her from talking. At the same time, forensic reviews were happening on the hair samples found in Carol Ann's hand, and they matched to Schrader. So, or they showed significant similarities. So, like you said, those were tested against 141 other men. So, on October 29th, 2025, the Bucks County District Attorney's Office announced that the grand jury had found Schrader responsible for first-degree murder crimes of rape and murder of Carol Ann Dougherty. Schrader died in 2002, and his name is now definitely linked to the crime, giving Carol Ann's family the truth that they had sought for decades.
And it is that. It is letting them know the truth. It's giving them an answer. Obviously, it doesn't bring back Carol Ann. It doesn't give them any additional, we talk about closure sometimes. I don't think that's what this is doing. He was not able to be held accountable for this. He was never punished for this. He never had to look into the eyes of the family members as they accused him of this. So essentially he got away with it. But I do think, like you said, that it's the truth they've been looking for. And at this point, that's about all you can ask for, and they got it.
Now, he died in 2002, right? But then the stepson didn't come forward until 2024. Jamie, this is the thing that happens, or that needs to happen in so many more cases, is that people talk. They have that weighing on them, and they probably confide in those closest to them as a way to get that off their chest. So if more people could do what this stepson did and come forward and report things that they have heard, it could be the link they need to corroborate with other things they have to finally make justice in someone's case.
Absolutely. And obviously this is after he could be held accountable, but still thankful that it happened. And I imagine he was probably scared to do it before he passed away, but appreciate you bringing the story up, John. And I'm glad there are answers that have been found. And I hope that comes along for many other families out there still waiting and hurting.
Yeah. And that gives you, hope. After 60 years, a case was solved. So there's never a case too old, so don't ever lose hope.
This has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.